Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Just Us Coordinating Council Speaker Series. My name is Courtney Jackson, and I'm the Manager of Workforce Development at Diversion Hub in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm also a fellow in Jobs for the Future, Fair Chance to Advance cohort, and a proud member of the Just Us Coordinating Council. I am honored to be here with you today as moderator for this dynamic and empowering conversation as a part of the JCC's Federal Speaker Series. The JCC, as many of you know, is the first of its kind national policy table created by and for individuals impacted by the criminal legal system. Over the course of the last 3 years, we have built a table where everyone is welcome and all who are invited have a seat. This is a table where collectively we can leverage our lived experience as the expertise it is. Today's speaker series focuses on an emerging gap and opportunity in the realm of fair chance upskilling and employment, advanced manufacturing. Unlike traditional manufacturing, which often relies on repetitive manual methods, advanced manufacturing incorporates tools such as robotics, automation, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, and advanced materials engineering. Advanced manufacturing is the application of cutting edge technologies, processes, and materials to enhance efficiency, quality, and flexibility in production. It is also a significant area of interest by the federal government and brings with it many pathways to life changing careers for people with a conviction history. Today's session will help differentiate between traditional and advanced manufacturing, highlight federal partners supporting workforce development in advanced industries, and give examples of how you can create new pathways to these opportunities within your local fair chance ecosystem. I am joined today by experts who will share more on each of these topics and help you, the viewer, access tools, and resources for your community. I'd like to welcome Dr. Brad Conrad, Education and Workforce Development Manager at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, Office of Advanced Manufacturing, and Lucinda Curry, National Workforce Manager for the Institute for Advanced Composites Manufacturing Innovation, better known as IACMI, the Composites Institute. I'd like to thank each of our guests for joining us today. Before we dive into today's session, let's talk more about the coalition and today's topic. To adequately start addressing the harms caused by the criminal legal system, the JCC works to create pathways, access, and resources within each of these policy areas. Our mission is to enhance quality of life for justice-impacted individuals and their communities in order to restore human dignity. We do this by dismantling the policies that uphold marginalized and are ineffective. Today's focus is employment and training. According to Jobs for the Future's Fair Chance to Advance initiative, the numbers behind the need could not be more evident. Next slide, please. With these realities in mind, today's session centers on those most impacted as we highlight new approaches and resources, explore advocacy opportunities, and connect with experts and advocates supporting change. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our first guest, Dr. Brad Conrad. Dr. Brad Conrad, welcome. We're so pleased to have you. Dr. Brad Conrad is an Education and Workforce Development Manager at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, Office of Advanced Manufacturing, which also serves as the Advanced Manufacturing National Program Office for Manufacturing USA. Prior to joining OAM, Brad worked as the director of a nonprofit society for the American Institute of Physics, where he supported physics and astronomy students, educators, and societies. He previously was a tenured associate professor of physics and astronomy at Appalachian State University. At OAM, Brad works with federal agency staff to strengthen collaboration across education and workforce development initiatives for Manufacturing USA and participating U.S. government agencies. Brad leads advanced manufacturing education and workforce development partnerships and outreach opportunities to expand awareness and engagement with industry stakeholders, educators, workers, and students. Welcome, Dr. Conrad, and we look forward to learning more about your work within the U.S. Department of Commerce and the NIST. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Next slide. So just a little bit of background. I'm situated within the Department of Commerce, and then there's 13 bureaus within the Department of Commerce. I'm in NIST, which is one of those 13, and NIST stands for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. NIST's mission, it's a pretty big organization. We have a pretty large couple of campuses, but the mission is to promote U.S. innovation and industrial competitiveness by advancing measurement science, standards, and technology. So we care an awful lot about cutting edge technology, standards, and the processes and the reference point around what's needed to help industry get what it needs to get the job done and to help American workers enter into the workforce. Next slide. And so just a little bit of context. So if you think about NIST, think of it as like a national lab, which cares a lot about what industry and workers need. It's about 6,000 people in any given week here on campus. I'm situated here in the Gaithersburg, Maryland campus. We do have a big campus over in Boulder, Colorado. But we work a lot with industry through the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program, and my office, the National Office for Manufacturing USA products and programs. Next slide. And so when you think about NIST, yes, we work on standards, the kilogram, the second, the meter, that kind of thing. But we really try to accelerate U.S. innovation and help industry get the newest, latest, greatest technology. We have research infrastructure and technology. There's a bunch of different kinds of sensors and all kinds of equipment here. But the two pieces that I'm going to talk to you about today are standards, whether it's around workforce or technology or the intersection between the two, and then critical and emerging technologies. Next slide. And so it's on that piece of critical and emerging technologies that I'm happy to talk about what my office does. So I work within the Manufacturing USA office, and our vision is to secure U.S. global leadership in advanced manufacturing. And what you'll see by looking at the photos is that it's pictures of people doing really awesome stuff in STEM and advanced manufacturing. And that's really what I work on, is I help people get the skills they need to get awesome jobs in STEM and advanced manufacturing. Next slide. And so our office has 4 goals. So obviously it's to help individual industries get whatever they need to be competitive in the global marketplace. It's also to help make sure that the new technologies that are coming out of laboratories and the shop floor get implemented across the United States. But the third goal, goal 3, is the one that I really focus on here. It's accelerating the development of an advanced manufacturing workforce. And what that means is helping, there's a big need within America for people. Right now, there's over 500,000 open jobs in manufacturing, according to BLS data from the federal government. And my job is to help fill those jobs and get people into those jobs. And about half of those are associated with advanced manufacturing technologies. So whenever you hear the term advanced manufacturing, it's okay, in my opinion, just to think about it as STEM jobs, STEM roles. It's that cutting edge stuff. Next slide. And so my office, the Office of Advanced Manufacturing, we support a network of public-private partnerships called the Manufacturing USA Network. And we work in this gap between, if you think about how technology starts from the concept all the way to being implemented on the shop floor, and workers come along with that process. There's a lot of effort at the fundamental stage. So can we even make the sensor? Can we make the technology? Can we make the new robot? Whatever that is. So that's on the earlier stages of development. And then at the very end, the private sector is taking that technology and ramping it up, and the workforce along with it. We work in that middle area. So with one hand, we're working with scientists and engineers to understand what's coming down the pipeline for jobs and for technology. And then we're also working with industry, hearing what they need, what trainings they need, and how to accelerate not just the technology, but the workforce along with that. Next slide. And so I work with the Manufacturing USA Network. And to be very pragmatic about it, what that means is I work with a collection of 17 different public-private partnerships. So you're seeing a bunch of logos on the screen. Each of these are separate entities that are focused on different technology areas. And we've artificially broken them out into different technology areas. So you can see there's electronics, ones that are focused on materials. I'm joined by my colleague, Lucinda. She's going to talk about advanced composites and CNC machining and castings and forgings. There's also ones that focus on like digital automation, meaning cybersecurity, IT, OT, 3D printing, robotics. And then we have 3 that focus on biomanufacturing, whether it's biomanufacturing, biopharmaceuticals, or biomanufacturing itself. And then we have 2 that are associated with energy and processes. And so each of these logos on the screen, you can see that they have a physical location, like a physical headquarters, but they're situated across all 50 states. And so the demarcations are artificial. So I'll pick on the ARM Institute. They're great friends of mine. They focus on advanced robotics, and they're comprised of hundreds of organizations, many of which are smaller, medium-sized manufacturers, also big prime manufacturers in the robotics space. But you also have people in neighboring technology sectors that want access and are interested in those advanced robotics. So they're not making the advanced robotics. They want to make sure that they're implementing the advanced robotics and the workforce to go along with it. So I'm talking to you today about workforce efforts across this entire network. And there's some really great products and programs I want to showcase to you and set things up for Lucinda to hit out of the park for IACME. So next slide. So when you're thinking about an individual institute, and one of the things that I'm going to suggest that if you have an interest in helping workers get into any of the fields that I've shown you on the previous slide, the groups that are a part of the Manufacturing USA Institutes are primarily composed of manufacturing firms. And about 61% of those are just manufacturing firms. So if you look at an institute, 61% are manufacturing firms. And then of those, 77% are actually small and medium size. So the small and medium-sized manufacturers. The other piece at the table is that they're also bringing together community colleges, major research organizations, different educational entities that operate within states. And then you also have state and local economic development entities as well. So when you think of an institute, it's just not manufacturers, it's just not the teachers and the trainers, it's just not local economic entities, but it's all of those groups working together to try to help get people the skills they need to get jobs in those technology areas. Next slide. And so obviously they're working, each of the institutes works very hard on the technology piece, but I'm focusing on the workforce piece today. And so in 2024, this is part of our annual report to Congress, just to give you a sense of the scope, there were 237 separate workforce development projects from small groupings to very large efforts spanning all 50 states. And over 195,000 people participated in institute projects or programs across the United States. And for an example, 52,000 of those people were actually directly or already in the workforce, and they were getting training in the workforce. And this is all done through a network of over 4,000 different training providers. So this is a really big network. And if you're interested in looking more what's in your local area, you can go to www.manufacturingusa.com/EWD-connect. And I'll give you some other links later on in the presentation, which will help drive you to some resources. Next slide. And so another resource that I'd like to connect you with is one of the most important pieces from my point of view is that people are hesitant to go into a line of work unless they see people that look like them. And so we have our Modern Makers campaign. Every other year, what we do is we select 20 to 30 or so individuals that represent the different facets of advanced manufacturing, all the way from people who are coming out of high school or they're going into their second career, all the way up to C-suite or CEOs. And we talk about how they got to where they are in advanced manufacturing. So if you're interested in learning more about individual people's stories to help connect potential workers with potential career pathways, this is a really good resource. Next slide. I'll also pick on the ARM, since I picked on the ARM Institute, I'll talk about one of their programs. And this is roboticscareer.org. This is a great resource put on by the ARM Institute, one of the 17 that I showed you. And it's a one-stop shop for people looking for jobs in robotics, people offering jobs in robotics, people offering training in robotics, people offering, or both sides, either offering or looking for training in robotics, and then certification products and programs in robotics as well. So this resource is definitely great if you are in the field or looking to get into robotics, but it's also great for people if they don't know if they want to go into robotics, because there's resources available and training available to get somebody from not knowing a whole lot to helping connect them with employers within the robotics industry. So roboticscareer.org is a great resource. I highly recommend it. And then you'll hear from a future speaker, Lucinda, who's coming from the IACME Institute. She'll talk about programs, the ACE and METAL programs, which are fantastic programs, but they focus on CNC machining, castings, and forgings. But I'll let her talk more about those. Next slide. And so one resource, if you're in the education and workforce development space, or you're looking to see some of the future career pathways that we're talking about, what we've done is across our entire network, 17 different technology areas, we've asked those leaders, what are the future looking, so in the next 5 years, what are the top occupations and the core skills for those occupations? And we've published this report. We update it every year. We just came out with the 2026 edition. And this resource is freely available. The QR code will take you there. And I think we can put a URL on the bottom. But this is called the Advanced Manufacturing Occupation and Competency Framework. Please do check it out if you have a chance. Next slide. And just a little bit of give you a taste of the data. This report talks about 113 occupations that industry has identified as being future looking in the occupations which are coming down the pipeline, and over 400 different knowledge, skills, or abilities which are essential for those occupations. So the report goes into a lot of detail about what those, not just what the occupations are, but what are the core skills that are needed for those jobs which are ripe for training opportunities. Next slide. And so a little bit more, I picked another institute, NextFlex, which is hybrid electronics. These are some of the occupations which you can also see in that report. It goes over manufacturing technicians. It mentions different kinds of engineers, but it also goes into quality technicians, scientists, logistics and supply. There's just not one role in advanced manufacturing. There's a whole bunch of entry points into the field of advanced manufacturing, all the way from people with a high school or GED all the way up to a PhD and everything in between. But most of the positions are at the technician level, meaning they're looking for people with a high school diploma, GED, or maybe a couple certifications, maybe even an associate's. So they're looking for people who are truly entry level to enter into advanced manufacturing. Next slide. And so the report also goes into the specific skills. I'm showing you a set of skills for robotics. None of these are very surprising. OT, automated systems and operations, understanding safety procedures, programming skills. Individually, they're not surprising, but the collection of them is really powerful, especially if you're thinking about helping people get into new career pathways, which are future looking. Next slide. And so another way of looking at it is if somebody has a skill, what they can do is we've picked here the data collection and analysis skill. So that's a skill that over 11 technology areas identified, and you can see some of the different career occupations on the right-hand side that connect to that one skill. So lots of the times when they're going through training programs, it's important to connect individual skills with the wide variety of occupations across many different technology fields. And the report has this data in it, which could be helpful for you. Next slide. And so one of the last things I'll mention is we did a deep dive. So this document is really for the education and workforce development specialists. It's a really wonky report. I think it's over 80 pages, but it provides all of our data, and it goes into a very deep analysis of how the different occupations connect around certain skills and what skills connect to what occupations. So if you're looking for data, this is a great source for that. Next slide. I think it might be my last slide. Last slide. And so I just wanted to say the Manufacturing USA Network exists. There are 17 separate institutes. IACME, which is talking next, is a great partner. And they'll go into their individual products and programs. But if you're looking to connect with any of the institutes or their workforce development programs, I am absolutely happy to connect you. So that's it, and happy to take any questions. Thank you. Courtney, I think you're muted.
My apologies, Brad. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. So I have a question for you. Given this high-level oversight across national manufacturing USA institutes, how do you recommend local fair chance employment advocates assess which institutes may have aligned pathways to training and employment networks for impacted talent?
Great question. A couple of different answers. All of them are really short. So the first is geographically, you might want to connect to programs which are geographically relevant or close to you. So I would go to, and I'll put a link in the chat. It's to EWD Connect. It highlights the current active programs around the United States. I'll put it there. That way you can click around, see what kind of products and programs are available. An additional way, which I think might be more fruitful, is to have individual conversations with the institutes about what are some of their products and programs. So I pointed out roboticscareer.org. That's a free resource available on the web. IACME is going to talk about their ACE and MEDAL programs, which are fantastic. But each institute, because they're different technology areas, it looks like bio looks different than semiconductors, which looks different than cyber. They all have different programs, and they're all really looking to connect with groups like you. So if you're interested in connecting with any of these groups, I'm happy to make that connection point for you.
Brad, thank you so much for sharing these incredible initiatives and institutes. While many may not imagine these types of opportunities are embedded within the Department of Commerce, we are grateful to now have this firsthand knowledge of new pathways and resources. Before I introduce our next guest, this is a good time to remind those in attendance today that all slides and the recording from today's speaker series will be available online later this week. Next, I'd like to welcome Lucinda Curry. Ms. Curry is the National Workforce Manager for IACMI's upskilling initiatives, including their MEDAL and ACE programs. Previous to this role, she was the Director of Apprenticeship Works, where she helped bridge the employment gap by empowering workers to advance or change their careers through paid on-the-job learning and training instruction that led to industry-recognized credentials. Lucinda, we are grateful to have you with us today, and we look forward to learning from you. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Courtney and team, for the invite. Looking forward to sharing some information that I believe, can help a lot of people find gainful employment. So next slide. A little bit about IACME first. It is one of the Manufacturing USA Institutes that Brad talked about. We were stood up originally in 2015 by the Department of Energy and, of course, for composites. But from our work, especially in workforce development programs for composite technician, apprenticeship, and other research and development in the composites world, we also was asked to build out these programs, workforce development programs, for CNC machining, as well as casting and forging. So more in the metals industry. Some people wonder, how do you get composites and metals together? But that was really how. It was through workforce development. We are a member organization of over 180 members in our consortium, mostly from industry, but as well as universities, national labs, community colleges, and associations and agencies like yourself. Okay, next. So, but today we're really going to focus on the workforce development side of IACME. We do have goals and milestones to meet in K through 12, as well as with the adult population. So we will be focusing this presentation mainly on adults and developing future industry leaders through internships and apprenticeships. Okay, next. So a quick metal overview. Next. So METAL stands for Metallurgical Engineering Trades, Apprenticeship, and Learning. I know that's a mouthful. But really what we're doing is building programs and getting people trained from K to gray, so to speak, from kindergarten through the adult population and even to incumbent workers to upskill folks who are already in industry. This metal project is supported by the Department of War, formerly the Department of Defense. And our founding partners were Acme, Penn State University, and the University of Tennessee. And since then, we've grown substantially across the nation. Next slide. So metal came about because of the demand rising and the capacity had been shrinking in the metals industry. It's just one of those supply and demand type things that you've always heard about. And this has really come to a critical point. Everything that we use, or 90% of all durable goods, have a cast or forged part in them. So your car, train, airplane, stove, whatever really that you use that's manufactured, even the equipment that manufactures the composites or does the CNC machining or does welding, all of it has a cast or forged part in it. So it's really critical that we maintain this capacity and that we have workers in this industry, or otherwise, everything begins to fail. You can't get a part for your car. You can't get a part to cook. You're on your cook stove or your grill. So it's just, like I said, demand and supply and demand, not just with the parts, but with the workforce that makes those parts. Okay, next. So metal, what we're trying to do is answer that call, address some of these challenges by developing a national training network to sustain the metal manufacturing workforce through 2050. We believe manufacturing is a pathway to prosperity for people of all ages and backgrounds. There's a place for everyone in manufacturing, and we just try to connect those dots and help people find those positions, get hired, get trained. We work closely with employers to match real world needs and align it with the training so that as someone goes through our free online training or the boot camps, which are short hands-on training, that it is aligned with what industry is looking skill sets to hire in. Next. And we do that by building relationships. Metal is collaborating directly with industry. There's just a few up here because the slide, we have hundreds, but can't put them all on there. And the same thing with education and associations, which also work directly with industry. So building that collaborative environment, building relationships, connecting the dots from your agencies directly to our industry partners is what we try to do within this framework. Next. And we do that at various levels. We do have the engagement piece, which is that K to 12 with workshops, with STEAM events, with embedding it into curriculum and career and technical education programs. But we also do it at the adult level by offering the online, which is available free of charge to any individual, as well as boot camps for level 1, which gives them that hands-on, short 1-week type of training to see if it's something they really like. And if so, then take it further with level 2 and 3 type training or straight into work as a technician intern, an engineering intern, or a apprentice. So each one of those you can have on and off ramps at various points, depending on where you're at in that continuum. If you're looking for work, we can look directly at apprenticeship and learn and earn models, work-based learning. If you're looking to try it out first, of course, the online and the boot camps are highly recommended. Next. This is a short 1-minute video from a person working in the industry.
Foundry is pretty much a melt shop. where we take a ton of scrap and we melt it down into liquid lava, pour it into a mold, and send it on out of here. A lot of this stuff is going into critical applications. You know, without a college education or any degree of that sort, you know, it's given me a way of means to provide for my family. You have to be trainable. You just got to have that grit.
For somebody that enjoys hands-on work and excitement in their day, this can be a fabulous environment.
Okay, thank you. Next. So, as I said, there is a workforce shortage, so we're looking for people who might be interested in learning more about it through apprenticeship, internship, K through 12 outreach, and also through online curriculum and the in-person boot camps. We also look to connect directly with agencies and industry to advise us on our work, to let us know, you know, how we can improve it, you know, how we can better connect. And also we invite individuals and agencies like yourselves to attend job fairs, come to a boot camp, and also, you know, check us out on social media. Lots of individual stories like that short video that you can find out more about the different jobs. You know, you see that job's very hot, the one they were showing, you know, it's in a foundry. There are pattern makers, there are maintenance technicians, there are accountants, there's, you know, all different types of people that work in manufacturing. So there's really is a job for everybody. It just depends on, you know, what your interest is and where your skill levels lie and what you'd like to learn. Okay, next. So one of the best ways to learn and, you know, not have any student loan debt or anything of that nature is to take Metal or ACE online curriculum for free. We have a, you know, no charge for any of the courses. It's just really short 30-minute type of modules that people can work through, and they can take as many or as little as they want. But they really, it's a great curriculum that people can set their own pace and complete before they go to a hands-on boot camp, just to find out more about the industry. Another cool benefit is that each participant earns a Credly badge, which is really nice for them to put on their resume, to put on their social media, to help get that job, to show that they did complete this course. And then we have resources available to help place participants who have been through the online or the boot camp directly with industry as a new hire, as an intern, or as a full apprentice. Next. So some of the online courses that we've been talking about are the Metal Level 1 course. Really is broad but not deep about the industry, about casting, forging, metallurgy basics, and industry career pathways. Then there's deeper dive into digital technology for casting. That really gets into that higher level advanced manufacturing that Brad was talking about. Also forging processes, which are different from casting. So forging is more of advanced blacksmithing, so to speak, but much on a larger scale. And material science, you know, we use materials in everything that we touch. New alloys are being developed that are lighter, that can withstand more heat, like from an airplane engine. So casting and forging both also have deep science behind them for those participants that are interested in the science, maybe more than the manufacturing processes. But there's really, like I said, space for all. And then the sand science, this is really cool. It's new in a lot of ways with 3D printing of sand molds. So you heard a lot about 3D printing and pricing, some plastic 3D printing. Well, this is super cool in that it uses sand and a binder to 3D print molds that before could not really be made. You might put 2 or 3 parts together, but now with the sand 3D printing, you can do intricate internal geometry designs and pour that molten metal into it and have one solid piece rather than 2 or 3 pieces that have to be welded together. So it's very exciting to learn about the sand science. And magnesium casting, that's another real world impact that we're having, that we had industry and defense telling us we really need more folks that can do specialized casting in magnesium. So each one of these courses was built around industry needs and, is taught, like I said, at a person's own pace. Okay, next. ACE is something else that Brad had talked about. That's America's Cutting Edge. And it follows right along with the casting and forging. Once you've cast or forged a part to a near net shape, then you need to finish it up. You need to clean it up. You need to, make it so that it fits within tolerances. And that's where that CNC machining comes in, which is computerized numerical control machining. So they're going to get in the computers. Get into the CAD CAM, the computer aided design and computer aided manufacturing that you hear about when you're talking about advanced manufacturing. So CNC machining courses are offered at over 40 sites around the country through our ACE program. And there is this online component that is available first. Also, then we take a deeper dive into metrology, which is the measurements, so making sure that those parts fit certain tolerances. And then, of course, we can't have the Composites Institute without having composites training. So we do have courses in composites, introduction to composites, composites for aerospace, composites for energy storage like batteries, and non-destructive testing in composites. So very exciting composite courses. And smart manufacturing, there again, gets into that higher level Industry 4.0 type of Internet of Things, how everything's connected, how this machine is connected to that machine, is connected to that ladle, is connected to that packaging as it goes out the door, how it's all connected together within a factory. And then cybersecurity overlays everything. Definitely you have to have cybersecurity to protect your drawings, to protect the IP of our industries. So those that are interested in cybersecurity, we have a course there that helps prepare them for the CMMC certification, which is a certification needed to work within the defense industry. So very exciting courses and available, like I said, in short 30-minute type modules. Okay, and you see the cool Credly badges there that you get for finishing each course. Okay, next. So after you take an online course and you think, okay, I really am interested in this, I'd like to do it hands-on, then we have the level 1 boot camps and the digital technology, sand science, and high-pressure die casting and forging boot camps as well. So then you can find a place to send your clients where they can take it hands-on for about a week long, sometimes 4 days, and really do that deep dive and do it by, learn it by doing it and connecting that in their minds to what they took online. Okay, next. The metal training sites currently that we have are 15 across 13 states. So we do have more coming online as we speak that are in the contracting process. So you can always keep an eye out for our website to see where upcoming boot camps are, what's close to you, what's close to your clients, and connect them to take a free boot camp. Housing is not included, so hotels, transportation, that type of thing is not included in the training. However, all of the coursework is free. Okay, next. So we'll talk about apprenticeship a little bit. We work directly with industry to connect them to our trainees and then for them to hire them into apprenticeship programs and to keep learning and getting paid while they are learning. So currently, this is a new program. So over the past about 2.5 years, we've already placed over 150 apprentices in various occupations. I know it's hard to see on the screen there, but they're all different occupations: machining, plate rolling, maintenance tech, quality tech, manufacturing technician, which is like a 1-year apprenticeship program. That's the shortest, all the way up to tool and die makers and maintenance tech. So really quickly, to educate and employ. So wherever you're at in the continuum, if you'd like to find out more, we're here to provide more information and connection to industry. And next. Check us out on social media. Lots of cool stories about employers and employees and what they're doing with their training and how they are creating new products and interacting directly with things that we use every day. And last slide is our contact information. So these slides will be available to you. Feel free to reach out to me or any of our workforce managers across the country. Thank you so much. If you have any questions.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much, Lucinda. So the first question is, from your experience working directly with employer partners and apprenticeships, what wraparound supports have proven particularly important for helping justice-impacted individuals successfully transition into advanced manufacturing careers?
Courtney, it's a great question. I do believe that the most critical wraparound service is transportation. It's always a key factor in being able to get to work, especially sometimes during early or late shifts when there may not be available public transportation, as well as reliable childcare if people need childcare. It's critical to enable a person to so that they can be reliable and dependable in the workplace to have their children cared for. So those are the two that I have found to be the most critical in people being able to advance on their job.
Thank you, Lucinda. I feel the same way as well. Okay, everyone, before we open the floor for questions from today's experts, it is important to highlight that the resources and opportunities elevated today do not take hold on their own. According to a Manufacturing Institute MI study with Deloitte, manufacturers will need to fill 4 million jobs by 2030. 2.1 million of which could go unfilled if more people do not pursue modern manufacturing careers. There is a pipeline of impacted talent eager to fill this need, but this will require those of us in attendance today and the membership of the Just Us Coordinating Council to work with state and local policymakers to ensure advanced manufacturing is at the forefront of the discussion for fair chance employment. So how do we do that? First, we have to understand the current state of play in our state and region. This requires mapping regional workforce needs alongside the untapped talent pool of justice-impacted individuals to identify clear pathways into advanced manufacturing. Next slide. Next, we have to bring together stakeholders who can help create change. Building strong coalitions between community organizations, educational institutions, and policymakers ensures we align resources and remove legal or systemic barriers to employment. Next slide. Third, our industry partners must be prepared and willing to hire. We must equip employers with fair chance hiring best practices, policy templates, and support systems so they can confidently recruit and retain talented candidates. Next slide, please. And finally, implementation and scaling have to be planned for from the beginning. Designing repeatable, sustainable hiring pipelines early ensures these initiatives can expand across broader markets without sacrificing support or long-term retention. Next slide. Each of these 4 concepts for improving these pathways can be aided by the many tools linked and included in the Just Us Coordinating Council's resource library, including a new toolkit from the Manufacturing Institute that will be shared after today's session. And now, let's hear from you. Slides down, please. If you have questions or comments for today's speakers, please feel free to drop them into the chat and we will elevate them for sharing.
That's a great question for you, Lucinda.
What's this? Okay. Oh, how are K-12 districts and schools working with IACME? That is a great question. We actually are working a couple different directions with K-12 districts. One is with the Foundry Educational Foundation, one of our partners, who is embedded casting curriculum into 100 high schools. And they've provided kits, what we call Foundry in a box kits to those schools, have trained their teachers. And you think it would be all just tech teachers, but it's not. We've had math teachers, art teachers, science teachers, all different ones who have sort of caught the bug and said, I want to teach this. And it's a 40-hour embedded curriculum that's right into the schools. And then we have other kits that are called foundation boxes. And those are more for the K through 5th grade. A lot of different STEM activities that teach the kids to think about manufacturing and, how it works. So those have been embedded now in about 400 schools, in elementary schools. And now we're starting to put together and work on the 5th grade, through middle school. So to fill that gap. But right now it's been the high schools and then the K through 5th grade. It's very exciting. Lots of schools being brought on, thousands of kids being impacted and seeing the technology and getting their hands, dirty, so to speak. But not real dirty, but we're just having some fun. So good question.
And I would add on to that. I know for a fact that there's a lot of K through 12 schools, school districts, entities, kind of the peripheral, like the groups that work with K through 12 have partnered with the Manufacturing USA Institutes. There's a lot of different technologies. So we represent like 17. There's like 3D printing. There's CNC, which you just learned about in castings and forgings. There's bio. There's cybersecurity. So I think a lot of school districts can only focus on so many programs, which you want to do that. So they're making sure that they're supporting that program. So IACME is a great partner. I highly encourage you to encourage others to work with IACME on their products and programs. But if you'd like to focus on different technology areas, there's different programs available.
Right. And one of the things, too, I'll point out, it's real critical when you're working with high school or any school district is to map, the activity to their plan and what they have approved in their state. So we do that. We look at, what do they say their checkoffs are for science or art or, STEM, and then suggest the proper or, the appropriate kit that would work for them to fit what they need. So they can say, yes, we're doing this, this, and this, and this is how we're doing it. Because if it's just adding another thing on top of something, then they don't have time for it. But if it meets their standards, then they're all about doing it.
And another good example is the state of Ohio. They do some great work with their community college system. So they've done a nice job of different community colleges will focus on different areas in different regions of the state. And that means different programs are attached often to those community colleges. So one might be more one technology versus another. And so an individual high school or a school district might have, they know that there's a big bio presence, so they want to focus on bio. So I think it's really important to know what the drivers are for the region, because we know, especially at the technician level, most people, when they go looking for a job, they probably don't want to commute more than 50 miles. And even then, that's kind of a stretch. So making sure that the programs are matching the local industries, or at least knowing that if you do this training, they're going to then might have to leave the area to get that job.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Oh, perfect.
I have a career and technical education program whose goal is to expose high school seniors to the taxonomy of advanced manufacturing roles. Fantastic. That's amazing. I would love to talk with you. Who should I reach out to for partnerships and funding for this program? Organizations like Metal and Manufacturing USA. So Lucinda, who's the best person for her to talk to at IACME?
Really start with me. That'd be fine. and I can elevate that depending on which program you're most interested in, if it is metal or ACE or composites or a combination thereof.
Great. And then we'll make sure that her email address is available, and it's in the slides too.
Right.
And then for the Manufacturing USA Network, I'll make sure that my email address is in the chat. It's most helpful if you can help identify which technology areas are the most important, because ultimately I'm not the one offering the products and programs. I'm supporting the workforce development leaders at the institutes. So indicating which technology areas, or even telling me, like I think you said you put a geographic region in the comments. So for example, the state of Texas, I know Simani, they work on cyber. They have a huge presence in the state of Texas. Happy to build some either geographic or technology connections depending on your needs.
Okay, with childcare, how does industry partner with childcare providers or families to address that barrier? During the Biden administration, Department of Commerce funds at certain level. Yep. This administration largely deprioritized these efforts. How is industry thinking about childcare without government requirements? It's a good question. Definitely, we think about childcare and we talk to our industry providers, our partners about it. Not many of them have childcare, especially within casting and forging. Some within the machining, but casting and forging can be sort of dangerous, so they like to, keep a distance. But they do support it in various ways. Maybe not directly employer supported, but we work with other resources like our local workforce boards. We connect our industry partners to them. Sometimes they have funding available that can help with transportation and childcare. We also connect them to our local university partners and our community college partners, our high school partners. Some of them also have available resources, especially if they also, have educational programs where they're teaching teachers. Sometimes they have pre-K type programs right there at the university. So you just never know. There's lots of different areas and ways. We know we need more daycares within the United States. That is a need. But there is some funding and some availability depending upon, your location. So we try to work in an ecosystem around each one of our hub and spoke sites because really that has to be done at a local level and then connect all the different resources within that area, whether it's funding resources to help pay for childcare or whether it's just direct information on if there are openings in this particular daycare. Okay. Has ACME done analysis of where individuals with criminal records would face legal barriers to certain occupations? If there is a career coach, that kind of information would be helpful. We have not done an analysis, but I have ran across it usually within the apprenticeship. And what I have found is that mostly it's not a barrier if you have a criminal record, unless you are working, on a highly critical defense part, then sometimes there is a barrier. But like say, I've worked with companies in Ohio that had a commercial track and a defense track, contracts that they were working on, both in aerospace or both in transportation, making semi trucks, so to speak, for companies, making engines. And so folks that had a barrier could work on the commercial side, maybe making the same engine that someone else was making over here, same skill sets on the defense side. But they would just have to work on the commercial side. So that's what we have found and have been able to still place people in apprenticeship and internships. You just have to, look at what kind of contracts they have, and maybe one contract, no barriers at all. Others, they might be just at a higher level, at the engineering level, where they have to keep that IP a little safer. So we just, have to work directly with the employer to see if there are any legal barriers and then do workarounds or make other referrals.
And across the entire network, there are definitely programs which have connected with people with criminal records. And I just put in the chat interesting from MI about one effort for connecting manufacturers to second chance talent pools, for an example. So again, if you'd like to talk more or would like me to do a little bit of digging in individual technology areas, happy to do that.
Thank you. So, as we draw our time together at the table to a close today, I want to start by thanking our incredible guests. I am confident that the resources and expertise shared today will help our network engage in a more meaningful way in the coming months as these policies continue to be reshaped. Thank you as well to each person who joined us today. As someone who supports and values the work of the JCC, I want to encourage you to regularly take time to explore what the coalition sends several times a month via email and on social media. On the final slide is a QR code you can scan to take a survey about today's session. More ways to elevate your experience and expertise are coming this month, and the table is open to all. I want to remind you all that building fair chance ecosystems is needed for both our advanced manufacturing workforce and economic growth and mobility. Collaboration and relationship building can be a primary way to meet fair chance and partners and begin to form the implementation of workforce development training programs within your own organizations. Before you leave today, I want to leave you all with an actionable takeaway. Identify one advanced manufacturing position that is difficult to fill, one workforce development partner who can help train candidates for that position, and one fair chance pathway you could pilot. Then ask 3 questions. What skills does the job require? What training partner can help us build those skills? And what barrier can we remove to make this position accessible for the fair chance talent pool? Because remember, fair chance isn't about lowering the bar. It's about expanding who gets the opportunity to reach it. When industry gets the talent it needs and people get the skills, wages, and opportunity they need, we don't just fill jobs, we create economic mobility. Thank you for joining us today, everyone, and have a great week.